heading into our closing, just giving you guys some financial encouragement heading into 2025 from me. Always the beginning of the year just resets the tax situation, and
Mm-hmm.
as you think about the tax situation, starting to think about ways that you should allocate your money. So number one, making sure that you have multiple accounts that you're starting to consider. One, a savings account that you put tax money into, so that you're not surprised when tax time comes or
Mm-hmm.
scrambling. Number two, making sure that you have some sort of savings account, and we can get, super specific with IRAs and CDs and investment
Mm-hmm.
accounts and stock markets and a savings account.
Yeah.
Like you need to have an account that you're not touching that is for savings.
Yeah.
Separately from that, an emergency savings. So clarifying that those are two separate things. Emergency savings is not the same thing as like I might want to use this sometime in my life to do what I want to do savings. So
Yeah.
emergency is what it says. It's an emergency.
Yeah.
Like unforeseen. Unfortunately, houses are burning down. Emergency savings come into play with being able
Yeah.
to grab a hotel or hey, I still got to get my kid clothes, X, Y,
Mm-hmm.
and Z. That's an emergency savings.
Yeah.
Or your car breaks down, X, Y, and Z. It's an emergency. Separate from, I might want to take a trip to the Bahamas or Aruba one day.
That ain't no
Fine.
emergency.
Yeah, I might want to, uh, whatever, work on this new business project and invest in it. That's separate savings. Or I just want to put this in my retirement for the future.
Yeah.
I recommend you have separate savings in retirement and emergency savings.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, for those of you who are starting out, emergency savings, savings. Those things I do not touch. Those are not getting spent day to day. Those are not getting spent month to month.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, starting to have something that is preparing for your consistent bills and expenses. So if you have to pay for food, if you have to pay for gas, if you have to pay for rent, if you have to pay for utilities,
Mm-hmm.
things like that, making sure that account is on point. So how many accounts have we hit so far? Savings for taxes, emergency savings, general savings, daily life. That's four as a minimum that I would be running if I'm you. And then if you want to start to get more specific and more expansive, you can go on from there. But if you have those four accounts, you're going to feel a lot more financially healthy in 2025. You're going to feel a lot more confident. And then
Mm-hmm.
if you put that into play with a written down plan of what you would like to achieve by year's end or what you would like to be doing with these funds or what you would like to make happen with them, you're going to end up being in really good shape and you're not going to panic about money. And there's a lot of people living check to check. There's a lot of people who are panicking about money.
Yeah.
And so if you want to avoid that panic, there was some advice for you. Start with those four things.
No doubt. I definitely have been looking around. I think the stats have continued to go up. It's like, I think in between 60 and 80% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck.
Mm,
And once again, I always factor in the big three. So it's your housing, your food, and your transportation. And like I said before, if you're in a situation where you can downsize your living situation, you probably want to go into that. If you are having a car payment, you probably shouldn't have a car payment. You should probably try to downsize into something that's cheaper, something with no car payment. Like always trying to find a way to get into a better spot financially, but also adding into that, expanding your skills so you can try to make more money as well.
mm,
Or if you need to pick up a second job, whatever that is. But I always say you want to try to create some type of breathing room if you don't have any.
right.
And I think that's the part that kind of gets people in trouble because I hear it pretty often of the like I have my own place and like I'm not gonna change that situation.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're like you're either drowning financially, like you barely can make your bills, or you're literally like I can't do anything,
Outside of
right?
that.
I can't do anything outside of what I'm doing and I still want to live in this situation. And I think it's separating the conversation of I deserve this versus I've earned this.
Right.
And I think that's been the biggest issue with people and their finances. So people be like, oh, like I want to get this car because I deserve this car.
Mm-hmm.
But do your finances say that you've earned
Earned
this
it.
car or not? And I think most of the time the answer is no. I haven't earned this. I just think I've deserved it.
Right.
So I think it's just separating those two concepts and then being able to see, okay, I might need to downsize for a few years to get to what I want to do in my real life.
Yeah.
So those are huge things for me. And then obviously saving. We got to save, we got to invest, and then obviously try to grow the income.
Damn. All right. Well, that's what we got for you today. So appreciate you tuning in. If you want to find this, make sure you subscribe. Business Relationship Sports with CA and KJ. Check it out on YouTube specifically. And make sure to drop a comment. Make sure to drop a like. It's really helpful for other people like yourselves to find this podcast. And we will see you next time.
No doubt. Good to see you.
No doubt.